she's the top woman on the roster. Wrestling ability wise, character wise. Asuka's close, but
that match is a little while off yet.
Exactly. So Charlotte Flair is riding a high right now, and it's going to take her through the entire week. She won the title. She's going to win the match at Survivor Series. She's going to have what we call a really good week. That's it.
Full tiebreaker time.
I'm the one who's always ending the tiebreakers. I actually kind of like that. For this one, the deciding factor, I agree with Brian. This with Charlotte winning the SmackDown Women's title, the winner did become clear, and I'm also going to go with Charlotte because if this actually happens, I'm getting an extra point on this one.
No.
Oh yeah.
It don't work like that.
Oh, I know what you're calling.
What do you call it?
We're getting the big. We're feeling for Charlotte. She just won the title. She's celebrating with her dad. She's getting so much positive feedback right now. She's going to continue, like Brian said, she's going to continue that high, and it's not going to be a dominant. This is going to be a great match. But I think Charlotte's going to win, and Alexa Bliss, being the conniving little witch that she is, the sexy conniving witch, mind you, she is going to take out Charlotte, and we're going to have a cash in with Carmella.
Would you believe I actually completely forgot about her?
And between now and WrestleMania, Carmella is going to be that evil, sneaky James Ellsworth-esque champion who sneaks in the cash in and just somehow manages to keep the title on her until Charlotte. We want to see Charlotte get that moment again, which I think will probably be WrestleMania.
You know what? That's actually going to be incredibly interesting just because, again, I've completely forgot about the Carmella factor.
If Carmella cashes in, I'm giving myself a point. I'll make that a rule. I'll make that a rule on our prediction shows. If one of us says that's when the moment the person will cash in and that's what happens and they win, they get the point. I'm not just making that about me. Come on, that's not a bad rule.
That's not a bad rule, but you waited until you said it.
That's the big kicker. No. I am fighting you on that one.
Okay, how about this? We'll start that next year.
We'll put it up for discussion, depending on what they do with the Money in the Bank briefcase. That's fair. I will not fight you on. But speaking of more fighting,
I'll rub it in if she actually does do that.
Well, that's why we're not doing it then.
Rubbing it in is fine. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, I'm not touching that one. Speaking of which, we're talking about the women's Survivor Series match. I've got no introduction for this. Team Raw: Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Asuka, Sasha Banks, and Bayley versus the SmackDown Women's team of Becky Lynch, Carmella, Naomi, Tamina, and Vacant. Mystery person.
And Vacant.
Who do you got?
And Vacant. It's
the greatest WWE superstar of all time, Vacant. I actually started following Vacant WWE on Twitter. It's like, Vacant, the greatest champion of all time. I'm like, yeah, I can't argue that.
Not wrong.
Yeah. I in order for balance, as I said, okay, because I have a feeling that Vacant is going to turn out to be Natalya. So, if that's the case, okay, Raw has one person on that team that makes it imperative that Raw gets to win. Because if Asuka loses this match for any reason whatsoever, they've already killed her.
I'll be honest with you, I'll go with the same reasoning here. Asuka is pretty much the linchpin here. Because I think we were talking about this before we even started recording. Who could they unless really, who could they possibly get to one up Asuka?
Yeah, and don't tell me Paige. No.
No one was going to say that, Brian.
Well,
IWC.
Oh boy, that might have been a thing.
IWC. No, Paige will not beat Asuka, and if she comes into this match as vacant and wins the match for SmackDown, I'm calling bullshit.
Paige versus Asuka 1-on-1. I'll completely agree with you. But a returning Paige coming in as a mystery partner in a multi-person tag team Survivor Series style match, that I can at least see her becoming a threat.
Becoming a threat, sure, but you can't have Asuka lose. You can't.
At least she doesn't. At the very least, she doesn't lose here.
Well, yeah. We're only talking about here, so that's so.
Either way, the long and the short of it is, in my mind, I cannot come up with a single challenger that WWE could produce that would possibly threaten Asuka here. Unless they bring back Karma, which is not going to happen. Fool?
It's honestly, it's clear as day. You guys pretty much hit it right on the head. It's the Raw women's team. It's not even Asuka is the number one factor, but I feel like also when it comes to stars,
all SmackDown has is Becky.
All SmackDown has is Becky, and I would say Naomi.
Maybe Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi has established herself as a credible threat.
Yeah, it's better than what she was before.
Well, yeah.
During her SmackDown Women's Championship on,
yeah,
she really has established herself. But yeah, especially I even as the factor if I could see Carmella being one of the early factors of losing, and then she'll get the big final laugh on the crowd cashing in on Charlotte. I'll keep pulling that out of my hat, even though I don't have a hat. Hats don't work with.
Borrow mine.
My hat. I don't really look good with caps.
And I think that's too
small. I think it is
too big. Yeah.
Yeah, my head's too big for this one, even though it is a very phenomenal hat. AJ Styles.
AJ hat.
The Styles hat. The Styles cap. But yeah, it's the Raw women's team. It's gonna come down to it. And before we move on, because it's a Survivor Series match, who do you guys pick as survivors?
Asuka.
You think it's just gonna be Asuka?
I can see like it being multiple people on SmackDown. And just Asuka.
At least 2-on-1. At least.
At least. More likely 3. Because you want to build up Asuka as a monster, right? I don't know if they want to because of what they did with Emma, but hey, if you want to build her up as a monster, the best way to do that is to give her the Roman Reigns Survivor Series treatment. Have it be 3 against 1 and just have her beat the crap out of them. That's it.
Hey, if nothing else, the exhibition will be fun.
The smart move is Asuka only survivor.
I'm going to say Asuka as a survivor, but I'm also going to add Alicia Fox because I could just see her trolling her way into being a survivor.
You know what? There's
with
probably a chance of that.
Especially with her pushing as the whole captain thing. I could see her actually keep going with that, saying she was the captain who survived a Survivor Series match.
But I could also see her being the captain who was eliminated about 30 seconds into the match.
Oh, that too. Oh, I would be on the ground laughing.
Which is what I'm calling. I'm calling Alicia Fox versus Becky Lynch starts the match and Becky makes her tap out within 30 seconds.
I would be on the floor crying if that happens. I will be crying. I will be just bawling tears. I wouldn't be able to breathe.
Bawling.
I wouldn't be able to breathe if that actually happened. Brian, you would probably have to resuscitate me.
Well, this show took a really weird turn. Speaking of shows taking really weird turns, how about a good one for a change? Let's talk about a tag match. Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Usos. Who do you got, boys? Don't all answer at once now.
This, quite honestly, is the hardest one to pick because
they're both really good teams.
Yes.
They're both really good teams. There was no build. There doesn't need to be a build.
Both guys, throughout their title feud in the past 6 months, have been match of the year candidates with the New Day and the Shield. Which, surprisingly enough, it was the same art. It was an almost same argument because it's once again it's another contender being a match of the night candidate.
And based on my plan of balance, okay, this is I have zero confidence in this pick. I have zero confidence in any pick for this match, but for balance alone, I'm picking the Usos. Because I had the Shield winning the other tag match. So I'm gonna give this one to the Usos.
Fool. Are you going with who you think I think you're going for?
Trust me, if I was thinking with my penis, I would be on Cesaro's ship all the way, baby.
But you're not.
But I want to. I really want to. But it's like what Brian said, the whole balance, and I'm gonna go with the Usos. I really don't. I really don't want to go with the Usos, but like I said, I can't think with my penis on this one. I have to think with my other head.
The only thing that I can see being a factor for a Sheamus and Cesaro win is the leg injury.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Sheamus and Cesaro, you could put, because of what we said about Charlotte earlier, she just won the title. She's coming in hot, so it makes sense that she wins. You could say that about Sheamus and Cesaro too, but they also just came off of a pretty bad loss to the Shield. So,
well, at least none of them were pinned.
Well, yeah. So the momentum isn't as hot as Charlotte. Charlotte, you need to capitalize on that. You need to keep going. This, I can see the Usos winning.
Yeah, I do too.
Because of that. Because there's no momentum for Sheamus and Cesaro.
There's really no momentum for
There's
either
no
guys.
momentum for it.
That's why this match was so challenging.
It's so unbelievably neutral, but I will say this.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. There's got to be some semblance of like backy forthy during this whole night, just in typical WWE fashion. So that is like the big differential that I can see between these two teams. They're being booked at roughly the same level. One of them has to win. So, yeah, on strictly balanced terms, I've got to go with the Usos on this one.
And they never touched each other. God damn it.
I'm not even thinking about it. You can say it.
The only time they battled each other was in the Raw Under Siege. When Raw came in on SmackDown, the Usos jumped the Shield, and Sheamus and Cesaro ran in to save them. What? That's it. So that's the only time. So it's like you have no. There's nothing for this card that is like this happened at this show, so obviously the opposite must happen at the pay-per-view. There's none of that on this card. So you have to find a reason for your pick. And the only thing that makes sense here for anything is balance. So
yeah, this one is going to be a tough one, but again, we both know that all these guys can deliver, so I'm just going to enjoy the spectacle.
That's the one thing I like about this entire event. They're all these matches are very evenly balanced. They're very built and neutral. That, like we said, it's the Shield. They're gonna win, but it's once again you can't take anything away from the New Day. It's same thing with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. They're both built extremely strong. Everyone's built extremely.